Greetings, this is Bruce George, founder of the Genius is Coming movement and co-founder of Deaf Poetry Jam on HBO, and you're watching Amplified Live with Teresa B. Peace.
Keep shining, let it shine, shine like a diamond. Keep shining, let it shine, shine like a diamond.
Good afternoon, Facebook. This is your girl, Teresa B, coming to you live and direct from Amplified Exposure Live. And today I have my wonderful guest, Mr. Chris Jasper, formerly part of Isley Brothers and Isley Jasper Isley. He came on today to talk about his previous experiences and his new music that's coming out. So for those of you that are out there, we have 30 minutes of good stuff. And he didn't just come out here because he's so dope and so well known. He came out because he likes me. So for those of you that are out there in La La Land, TV Land, Roku Land, or wherever you're located, listen up. We're going to have a wonderful show tonight. How are you, Mr. Jasper?
Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good to see you. Good to see you. We tried this yesterday and we had little complications, but we're back again and we're going to get it done. It's on and popping now, right?
That's right. That's right.
So thank you so much for coming to my show. I'm very honored and privileged to have met you. I have been a fan of Isley Jasper Isley and the Isley Brothers probably since I came out the womb. My parents have been listening to your music. I can remember my dad having that 8-track. So I am very familiar with most of the songs, and I want you to tell the audience, how did it all get started? Because I saw something in a bio about there was someone that married someone, and that's how the group became formulated. Is that true?
Well, it didn't become formulated because of the marriage. What happened was me and Ernie and Marvin, we were the younger members of the group. We formed a trio back in the 60s when I was in high school. And we called ourselves the Jasmine Trio. We played, high schools, churches, wherever we could play. And they used to come, the older guys used to come and see us play sometimes. They used to also have people come over to Miss Isley's house where we rehearsed and watch us rehearse, And eventually what happened was Ronald booked a studio session for us, and we recorded some of our original stuff. And after that, they said, "Hey man, you guys are really good. Why don't you start playing with us?" Rudolph and Elaine had been married for a long time before that. So the marriage actually facilitated the joining of the two groups. What happened was the older guys saw our talent and wanted to add it to what they were doing. So that's how that got started.
Okay, awesome. And so how long were you together, the group?
Well, we recorded and toured together for like the early 70s, from like 70, 71 through 83. But the public didn't see the three of us younger guys until 73. And that was 3+3 album. And that's what was first became aware of, that we were part of the group.
Awesome. And what were the older members' names?
Ronald, he sang lead, and Rudolph and O'Kelly sang background.
Okay. And is Ronald the one that did something with R. Kelly?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to make sure I have the names, and because I see the face, but I don't know if all the names that match. Okay. And so the older ones started it in the 60s. The younger ones came about 73. And then were the older ones still a part of it?
Yeah, they were still part of it. And but then what happened from 73 to 83, the three of us younger guys and in particular, me and Ernie did most of the writing, songwriting, and we took over, the music aspect, like the composition, doing all the tracking, recording all the instruments and everything. So we kind of took over that part of the musical experience from that point on.
Okay. And were you still performing while you were making the music in the background?
That's right. Yeah, we toured together, and it was just a period of time. We had an album out every year, every summer. That's kind of how it went. And we recorded during the fall and the winter, and then spring and summer we would tour. And then when the tour was over, we go back and start recording another album. So
okay.
Cool.
And so during your whole experience with the Isley brothers and Isley, Jasper, Isley, what was your most favorite song out of all the songs that you've written?
Ooh, that's a tough one. With most groups, I think the one that stands out the most to me personally is "Caravan of Love," because when I wrote that, it was really a turning point in my life, and the lyrics were based on scripture, which was the time when I was starting to, understand and try to live, the words of the Bible and all of that. And it was a real important part of my life. And the song was so well received all over the world, and people still sing it today. They cover it today. I think it's one of the most covered songs that I've written.
Okay. What year did that come out?
85.
85. Okay. I'm going to look it up. I don't remember that song. Okay. And so that was your favorite. I also heard that you played instruments. Do you play just one instrument, or were there several instruments that you played while producing these albums?
Well, the keyboard is my main one. You can see one of those in the background there. That's my main instrument. But I also play guitar, bass, and drums. So, like when I do an album, my solo albums, all that music you hear is me, because I'm doing all the parts.
Oh, wow.
So
now, how do you do that?
Caravan of Love, I'm playing everything on there except guitar. It's just the way I started recording. Like even when I was with the Isley brothers, I did a lot of that music. A lot of that music is me playing different keyboards. And I even play guitar on some songs with the Isley brothers, and bass on some stuff with the Isley brothers. So I got used to doing that. I got used to tracking a lot of instruments. And when I started doing my solo album, I just continued to do it, and I do on my vocals too.
Oh, wow. Wow. So do you feel comfortable? Because I always ask my guests, do you feel comfortable in singing a little something?
In singing, what's that?
Singing a little line or something for us while you're here?
I just, I worked hard last night, and I kind of got a little hoarse doing it. I'm doing another album now, yeah, I don't want to do too much with my voice. I tell people all the time, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so I listen more than I talk. I think that's why now I can keep my voice, pretty much the same as it was years ago.
Right.
Because I don't overuse it. You got to be careful about that.
Very wise. Very wise.
Yeah.
So tell us about the project that you're working on currently.
Well, the first single from there is I released it 4 weeks ago. "The Way You Love Me" is a ballad, a classic kind of ballad that people, kind of get used to me doing, like the intimate kind of thing. So that's the first thing I released, and I'm working on. Of course, I always have some funk on there because that's part of it too. I wrote the Pride, "Take Me to the Next Phase" and stuff like that. So I Showdown. So I do funk, too. So that's going to be on there. But I'm just in the mid stage of it. I haven't finished all the songs, so I'm still in the creative part.
Okay.
Still very good.
Are you getting any help with this particular album?
I'm sorry, that's it. What you say?
Are you getting any type of help with this particular album?
No, I'm doing it on myself right now. Well, the help I do get is from my son, Mike. You know, when I do my rhythm tracks, you know, he's a big part of that. You know, because I said, hey, Mike, come on in here and let me hear what you hear on here. See if you hear other different rhythms than what I'm doing. You know, because he's good with that. You know, he's kind of my tech guy and rhythm guy. You know, so okay. I appreciate his input, you know, on a lot of stuff.
Runs in the family. That's pretty cool. So are you the only one in your family that sings? Do you have other family members that are also musically inclined?
Well, my sister and my brother took lessons for a while, you know, but then they didn't stick with it, you know, and my mother was kind of disappointed that they didn't stick with it. So she said, you know, one of you has to, you know, stick with it, take lessons, stick with it. And so, you know, I was like about 7 years old. I said, okay, I'll do it. I'll volunteer. So, you know, it was a good experience because there was this professor that went to our church, and he taught me a lot about composition and songwriting even before I started doing it myself, you know. Because I told him I wanted to be a composer. And he goes, so what? Composer. And like this 7-year-old telling me you want to be a composer, you know.
Well, that's a very young age to get started. That means you were wise beyond your years, even at 7 years old.
Yeah, I was kind of a mature young kid, you know. I was playing, you know, like music from different composers, and I said, you know, I want to be a composer. You know, I want to make music, you know. And he said, well, you know, you're gonna have to work hard. You know, you're gonna have to study a lot, and you know, you have to learn how to write for all the instruments and everything. And so I said, okay. So that was my beginning, and until I graduated high school, I studied with him, and then I went to Juilliard after that, and studied composition at Juilliard. And so that's how all this songwriting stuff got started. You know? Yeah.
Right. So how was that experience at Juilliard? Because it's like you got to be like really good to get in there, right? Like the top of the top 5%.
It was interesting, and I learned a lot being there. But what happened was the composition department was kind of rigid. They wanted you to compose atonal music exclusively, you know. To them, tonality was done with, you know. It was atonal music, and you know, I could write that, but you know, my heart was in R&B and jazz and you know that kind of thing. And when I heard that Billy Taylor was teaching out at Long Island University, you know, Billy Taylor, the great pianist and composer, I said, that's where I want to be. You know, I want to be somewhere where I can compose a lot of different types of music, you know, not just one type. And so I finished my music education out there. And that was a great experience studying, you know, the course with Billy Taylor. Great guy, you know, extraordinary talent.
Awesome. So tell me about the tour life, because I know back in the 70s it was wild. How did that go?
It was hectic, you know. It was mostly hectic. You know, you hear about a lot of the crazy stuff that goes on, but you know, touring is like it's so routine, it's rigid because you have to be here on time, you have to be at sound check on time, you know, you have to be at the auditorium on time. I mean, every day is a replay of the day before. It's like Groundhog Day, you know.
Right.
Boom, 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 boom. And after a while, you know, you have to be careful because if you don't get your rest, you know, it can really knock you out, you know. So you can't party that much. I put it that way.
Did you ever have people standing in front of your hotel room after a concert?
Oh yeah, blocking the hotel outside. Yeah, and sometimes we have to go in another entrance. You know.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's not crazy sometimes because you know someone would leak where the group is staying. You know, And that was like, because it would take us a while to get back to the hotel after the show, because we had to undress and everything, and gather all that stuff together, and then by that time, maybe an hour or so has gone by, and the people who heard where we were, they were already there.
Yeah, I bet that was crazy.
Yeah, it was kind of scary sometimes.
Wow. And so, there's some people in the industry, they like that attention. Was that something that you guys enjoyed, or was it kind of annoying at some point?
Well, you like, attention to a certain point. You know what I mean? Sometimes it can go on the limit. Like one time I almost got pulled off the stage, that was kind of over the top. I was like, if the roadies weren't behind me, I would have been gone. I would have been, out there, man. The roadies standing from behind, my pants ripped, but
what?
It was kind of scary because the stages are high, because
right,
like maybe 7 feet, from the floor. And I said, "Here I go. I'm gone. I'm out there." And then they grabbed me behind me. So sometimes you go over the top. It's good to get attention. That's nice, and it's good that people appreciate the fact, that they enjoy your music and all that. I mean, I really appreciate that. But when it goes to the next level, watch out.
I know, right? You have to have a spare of extra pair of pants somewhere for when they're pulling you off the stage.
You got to spare everything.
Well, that's interesting. I heard about the wild times back in the 70s. So during the concert period of your life, what was the best place to have a concert at? Because everybody has, out of the country, some U.S. locations. What was the place that you liked the most?
I guess for me was Madison Square Garden in New York, Manhattan. The thing was, if you could play the Garden and sell it out, that was a big thing back then. Like you quote unquote, made it.
Right.
We did it like 6 times. As a matter of fact, the tickets back there, you see some of the stuff in the background. They give you a gold ticket, which is back there on that wall when you do that, and it's exciting. It's an exciting place to play, because New York has a lot of press there. All the press and media is there. It's like a 20,000 seater, center of Manhattan. And it's one of those prestigious type places that, I'll never forget, playing there.
Yeah. Who were some of the acts that came along with you for that concert?
I think the Brothers Johnson was on the show with us at the Garden one time. Taste of Honey. I think Pendergrass might have been on the show with us, but it was 6 times, so I can't remember everybody. But
yeah.
Whoever had hot records out, that had a good show and everything. But it was very very good vibes in that place. When that place got,
you definitely right.
It started rocking after a while.
Yeah. Wow. So if you had any artists out there that is current right now that you had an opportunity to work with, who would it be?
Currently, I think Bruno Mars is doing some good stuff. He kind of adds a little of the old school kind of funk in there. I kind of like that vibe.
Yes. That new song that he has out, I can't remember the name of it, but it's where he's inviting.
I saw it on the internet the other day. He kind of did a live version of it. Is that the one?
Yeah, he has the background. It sounds just like 70s and a little bit of 80s. It's very unique how he puts things together.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's up next for you? We know that you have an album. Is there going to be any touring after COVID?
I hope so. I hope they can get this thing under control. It's kind of kind of dampering everybody's thing, you know, because a lot of people tour, you know, and artists can't really tour like before, you know, with all
Right.
everything locked down, you know. And it'd be nice if they could get everything under control and get back to touring.
Yeah. Miss Carmen said, "Leave the door open." That's the name of Bruno's song that's out currently. That song is so nice. Like I like how he does his mixture. And I hope you do get a chance to work with him. That would be awesome.
I think so. I think there'll be some pretty cool stuff coming out of there.
Yeah. So what do you think about the vaccine? Do you have an opinion on it, or?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I'm glad that first of all, I'm glad they have a vaccine. Believe me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that's one way to get things back to normal. If people get vaccinated, they get immune, you know, to the virus and everything.
Right.
I just hope that, you know, there's no bad things happening from it. You know what I mean? Like people getting reactions, you know.
Right.
Because they have a long time to test it, you know, but they needed it out pretty quickly anyway because of what was going on. So I just hope there's no bad reactions. But so far there's been a few, but not many, you know.
Yeah. We don't want anybody turning green.
Yeah. No bad side effects.
That would be really bad. Really bad. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Jasper, for coming on my show. If someone wanted to reach you after today, how would they do so?
Just chrisjasper.com. Very, very simple. Everything's on there. You can find all my music and, you know, bios, everything. chrisjasper.com.
Awesome. So yesterday I tried to play your songs, and I must admit that when I played Super Bad, Facebook shut the thing down. And I was like, how rude. So I guess it's a copyright thing. But today I'm gonna leave out with Show Somebody. I think they'll leave me alone if I just play that song. What do you think?
I think they will. Yeah. Okay. I should play Super Bad.
I don't know what happened. It's just they blocked me, and it was like no one could see the portion of the show that was taped. So for those of you out there, this is Mr. Chris Jasper. He is part of Isley, Jasper, former member of Isley, Jasper, Isley, and the Isley brothers. And he came on my show today to talk about his new music and all the good stuff he has going on and his life as a musician and singer. So I want to ask you one more question before I let you go. What do you think about that versus with Isley Brothers versus Earth, Wind, and Fire that's coming up?
I don't know much about it. I just heard about it the other day, but I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know exactly what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? I don't know if anybody's gonna sing anything. I don't know if they're just gonna play music. I don't know how it's gonna be set up, but it's just interesting to me because, you know, Earth, Wind, and Fire was always a group that I followed, you know, when we were writing and when the brothers were all together, you know, we followed Earth, Wind, and Fire pretty closely. So for that reason, it's interesting to me. But I always like the music.
Yeah, but I'll be watching. I'll email you and let you know how it went.
I'll be watching.
So thank you so much for coming on my show. You are such a sweet soul. So I appreciate meeting you being here and accepting my invitation. And thank you for the Lamont. Lamont is the one that referred you to me.
Yes.
Shout out to Lamont for he's a comedian out there in California that we've become good friends. So I appreciate you for coming on my show today, Mr. Jasper. I'm going to go out with your song, Show Somebody. I want you to be safe. Make sure that when you go on tour, if you come to Atlanta, Georgia, let me know.
All right. We certainly will.
All right. Have a good one.
All right. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
all in this together. Why can't we find a way to peace, yeah? Inside we have the answer, not far away beyond our reach. Ooh, step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love, yeah. Show somebody love. Ooh, won't you step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love, yeah. Show somebody love. Why can't we hear the children? Hear them as they laugh and play, yeah. Imagine what they're feeling. The world could be that way someday. Oh, step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love, yeah. Show somebody love. All you got to do is step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love, yeah. Show somebody love. I know it's not too late. Show somebody love. Little love is all it takes. The future is so bright if we decide to do what's right. Oh, won't you step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love, yeah. Show somebody love. All you got to do is step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love, yeah. Show somebody love. Let's have a celebration of brotherhood and unity, yeah. Let's give instead of taking, and comfort everyone in need. Oh, step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love. Somebody love. All you got to do is step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody